everybody. I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in to Amy's Inspiration Station, which is on the Altenew YouTube and Facebook channel. Let me know how sound is. I kind of messed around with a couple of things, so let me know if everything sounds okay. And I'm so excited. I'm not sure who's behind the badge today. Could you introduce yourself? Under Altenew. And as was posted, if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card. So I'm so excited to be here. I have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of different techniques, a lot of different layers. And I see Nancy already. I hope, Nancy, that this will brighten your day, what we're doing here today. Hey, Sue, I hope you are doing well. It's still a little bit cold for us, Sue, I have to say. Still a little bit cold. So I'm still kind of on a spring kick. And Allie is here behind the badge. Hi, Allie. I hope you are doing well. Oh my gosh, Sue, I hope you come back once you answer the call of the tea kettle. And hi, Debbie from Virginia. And hi, Shiamara. And if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And Allie is behind the badge today, putting a lot of stuff in. Hi, Tracy. Hey, Cece. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. And I have today's card's a little different. You guys kind of know me for very kind of simple and elegant things and kind of focusing on one thing at a time. And today's card has a lot of stuff on it. And so I am going to kind of go through, and I had to actually write it down, all the techniques that I put on a card. And I thought it was kind of crazy. I wrote that all down. We have ink blending. We have die cut layering, heat embossing, foiling, ink spraying, using a background stamp, using vellum, and using glitter paper. So yeah, it's a lot. So I'm going to jump in. I actually have two cards, but I think I'm probably only going to get through one of them, but I'll post both of them up on the Altenew fan group. And let me know how you're doing today. Are you still in kind of the depths of winter, hoping to think spring? Have you been playing along with the Inspiration Challenge on Altenew? Because it is really, really beautiful. So we will definitely very springy, beautiful springy colors. And that's the other thing that I'm kind of doing today too. All right, Sue, Allie is behind the badge. So say hello to Allie. We are so excited to have her here. And again, if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. So let me go ahead and point my camera down. And like I said, I got a lot of stuff today. All right, so I have two cards. And oh, of course, Tracy, it's 72 and sunny. Of course it is. And oh my gosh, Sue from New Jersey. I'm so excited. And we have a lot of things going on today. And Tina, I'm so excited that you are here too. And I think Sue, she spelled it with a Y, but I think it's okay. I think we'll be all right with that. So I got two cards, a lot of things going on. This is kind of like my second card. I had some leftovers and I wanted to make a second card. And this is my first card. So I just want to point out all the techniques. So we have some hot foiling, we have ink blending, we have a background stamp. You can see that I have an ink blended. There's vellum that's on top of this. I heat embossed a background stamp on the background, and then I have a craft your flower, and we use some ink sprays. You can kind of see that iridescent ink spray on there. Did some ink blending, and also used some glitter paper. So there's a lot going on. So that's what I wanted to focus on today. So this is using the Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood set. And I really love dogwoods. Again, I'm thinking about those harbingers of spring. These always come up in June for me. And I'm just so excited when they're here. They're like my favorite tree. And I even had a pink flowering dogwood and Akusa dogwood, and I absolutely loved it. So I don't have that where I live now. I have a white dogwood, but I really love the pink ones too. Oh yeah, it is fun, Nancy. There's a lot going on in here. So let me go ahead and get down to it. So I'm going to start today with the flowers themselves. So we're going to do a lot of die cutting. I'm going to get all of my die cutting done here. And we're going to use this flowering dogwood die set. And what's neat here is you get 3 different size flowers. So it's kind of like the Goldilocks of sets. So you have you have the Papa Bear flower, the Mama Bear flower, and then the Baby Bear flower. And because I was going to plan on making 2 cards, I'm going to cut 2 of the babies, 1 of the mama, and 1 of the daddy flower. All right. So I'm going to kind of cut all of these out, but I'm going to do them all. And I love doing that too when, you have a Craft-a-Flower like this. I just cut everything out of white cardstock and then I can blend it all, which is kind of cool. So that's where we're going to start today, is we're going to start with just die cutting all of these. So I'm just going to grab some white paper, and this is just 80-pound cardstock. And I'm going to grab a couple of pieces, and I'm going to grab my die cutting tool. And Nancy, I hope you try this. It's a lot of techniques, but I think it's kind of neat. I don't know. You guys let me know. It's a lot going on a card. All right, so I like to do it this way, where I just kind of throw this in, and then I just start layering these. And what's cool about this set is, so this is the baby flower, and both of them are together, so I don't have separate pieces. So I really like that about this set. And you can tell there's like a little triangle. And so that's how I know that these are going to go together. Yes, thanks, Allie. I was thinking about that when I did this, and I'm like, I need 2 of the baby flowers, and I am also going to grab all of these and do all the flowers here on one side. And sometimes you just kind of move things around to make sure it all fits on your paper. And I'm going to move this guy this way, because I don't like to waste anything as much as I can help it. There we go. I think that's going to work. It's like a big puzzle, like a really, really big puzzle. Now, there's also flower centers, which allow, wherever you saw like the triangle, the keyhole, etc., there's little flower centers. And so I'm going to throw these in here as well, because I'm going to cut these out of white. And I'm also going to cut half of them out of some glitter paper. And we'll get there in just a second. All right, so now that I have all my little flower pieces, oh my gosh, so close. All my little flower pieces arranged. And notice I'm not using tape, because I like to live life by the edge, literally here. Okay. All right, that should work. Close enough. Okay, here we go. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this through. And I'm just double checking to make sure everything is on the paper where it needs to be. Got it? Now I'm going to run this through. English name of the girl in the fairy table. Oh, that is Goldilocks. Yes, Goldilocks and the 3 bears. So she ran into Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear. Remember, they weren't there, but she was trying everything out for them. She was trying out their porridge and where they sat and where they slept. And of course, it was the Baby Bear that fit just right. All right, so I'm going to keep all these little guys over to the side. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the leaves. And what's neat about the leaves is there was this section of leaf that is 3 of them. And then there were also 2 leaves. And I'm going to cut these 2 leaves again. So I'm going to run these through. And while I'm here, because I know I'm going to need it in just a second, I am just going to run this little die cut sentiment through as well. That is for later, though. I'll show you guys. All right. And I hope, Tina, you have this set. Such a nice set. This is a newer one for Craft-a-Flower. But again, I love dogwoods. I'm thinking spring still. Really, really want spring to be here. Excited for that. And I can't wait for my flowers to come up. When spring comes, I kind of like wander around my garden and kind of like look to see what are all the exciting things that are happening in my garden. And last time we talked about kind of the things that were coming up. What were the first things that you saw? For me, it's hellebores. Although I have to say, we're having kind of a crazy bird season. There's tons and tons of birds around that normally aren't here yet. And just a reminder, if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card. And we have Allie, who is behind the badge, and she will be announcing that winner at the end of our program today. And I am Amy, and we are making cards today. And we are playing around with layers and lots and lots and lots and lots of layers. And I'm using the Flowering Dogwood set. This is a Craft-a-Flower set. And I love this set because of the fact that it's really, really super easy to put together. All right, so let's take a look at all of our pieces. I got one more thing I got to do. So I got to bring back my machine, but I will do that in a second. So when I get all of these pieces, then I start to kind of organize them, kind of like a puzzle. And it's like I showed you before, there's our triangles. So I'm going to put my triangles together. And the triangle also comes with this little guy. And these ones aren't marked. These are kind of like the flower covers, but there's the baby. So I know that those are going to go together. And then here's an arrow. Here are keyholes. So I'm going to put my keyholes together. And this is kind of like the big daddy one. The daddy one is the keyhole. And the mama one is the arrow. Here's my leaves. And there's an arrow, keyhole. And this one is the arrow. All right, so I don't think I did a second baby. That's what it was. All right, let me go in. I have to do a second baby. And I have to do some flower centers, and I'll show you what I'm going to do in a second. All right, so I'm bringing back my machine because I got to die cut one more thing. So I'm going to die cut a second baby, which is right here. And I'm also going to be die cutting flower centers. And I wanted my images on this card to pop a little bit. And so I thought, you know, glitter paper, there's such gorgeous glitter papers that Altenew has. So I'm like, I think I'm going to use those glitter papers. And I forgot to do my white part of that. All right. All right, I keep missing the comments. There's stuff coming in. We got Karen is here. These are easy flowers. Yes, they are, Tracy. I love using them. So easy to use. And Avril is here. Avril, I'm using some ink sprays again today. I'm not making a square card, though, I have to say. I am doing a regular card, or regular for me anyway, card. All right, so now let me show you a little trick here. So trick incoming. All right, so these little pieces are connected together. And I don't want them all to be out of glitter paper. I only want like the absolute tops. So I'm grabbing, and I did actually, and I do this a lot, is I actually went to the internet and looked at dogwood flowers just for like a natural reference, because honestly, I think nature sometimes is puts together colors the best. And so I kind of looked, and dogwood centers are kind of like a green yellow. And so I grabbed from the Forest Canopy glitter cardstock set and this Titanite. I'm terrible with geology, I gotta say. Terrible with geology. And, oh yes, it will, Avril. I'm letting you know. It's coming your way, all of that spray. So this color, it's this really gorgeous, rich, kind of yellowy green glitter. And I thought that was perfect. And I don't want this part. I just want these parts. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to put it right on the edge of my paper. And that way I'm not wasting anything. I'm just kind of putting it right at the edge because I don't need those other pieces because I have those out of white. I really just need the absolute flower centers. And then you're like, well, you did those other ones out of white, Amy, and you would be true. That's true. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to pop them up a little bit. So nothing's going to waste, I promise. All right, let me just take a second and take a look at some comments because I was focusing on we got Debbie here and, oh no, you got to try, Allie, I'll show you my trick. All right, and Karen is here. I'm so excited, Karen, to see you here. And all right, and Nancy has the Craft-a-Flower. All right, Nancy, I hope you try this one. I don't know if you've played around with the Flowering Dogwood yet, but it's a really, really super nice set. All right, so now I have all my pieces. And Allie, this is kind of what I do. I just realized I need a second baby because I did it again. I keep forgetting about that second baby. Anyone who's the youngest child knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? You always get forgotten everywhere. All right, here we go. I'm just going to run it through off camera. I apologize. Go ahead and stare at my desk for a little bit. And let me know in the comments, are you a Craft-a-Flower fan? Is this something you like to do? Do you kind of like to put all these layering things? And Dawn, I'm so excited that you're here from New Zealand. And it is summer for you because we're talking winter where I'm from, Dawn. So we're talking about how to get out of those winter blues. All right, so I'm going to take all these dies, and I usually have like a repository or put them right back onto your packaging, so that way you save them, or if you have a magnetic sheet, etc. So now we're going to start to kind of put these together and kind of figure out what the heck to do with these. All right, so let's collect what we have. So we have leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves, because remember it comes with 5, but I cut out an extra leaf. Okay, and now we have our mama. This is the mama bear. That's the keyhole. And nope, keyhole's daddy, the daddy bear. This is the mama bear. That's the arrow. And then we have 2 babies. So I'm doing baby 1. And on these, they're labeled 1 and 2. So I'm just kind of putting them together and just kind of, like I said, just organizing everything, punching out holes, making sure I got everything. And then what we're going to do on these is we're going to start to ink blend these, and then we'll put them together. All right. So I wanted oh, that's so nice, Carolyn. I'm so excited that you're here. We're live Thursday and Mondays. So please, please, please tune in again. But we are live Thursdays and Mondays. And it is nice because you get to see kind of how all of these work, you know? Absolutely. And, oh, no, Sue. All right, Sue, I got to send you one of these. And Karen, you don't. I know. I love the Craft-a-Flower sets, and Avril as well loves the Craft-a-Flower sets, and Tina as well, and Sue. This one, actually, Sue, I have to say, this one, I was a little surprised when I opened it up because sometimes the Craft-a-Flower sets, there's like a lot to them, but this one, when I opened it up, I was like, oh, this. I love the fact when they're together too. Like that helps me a lot. Because then I'm like, oh, I don't have to it's not a lot of little fiddly bits. As we know on this channel, I don't do well with fiddly bits. All right, so what am I bringing in? This is the mat that would go into the stamp wheel, but this is not like the ultra sticky mat. This is kind of like a little bit of a less sticky mat. And I've been using this to blend, so it's a little bit not as sticky as normal. So I'm just going to take some cleaning solution, and you can even take water, and I'm just going to wipe off my mat, and then it will all of a sudden magically be sticky again. It's just like a big, huge stamp. That's what this is. And I like this one. It's not ultra sticky, so I don't have to be, there it goes. Now it's sticky again. I don't have to be worried about my cardstock. And it's really easy to use, especially for situations like this. And you can tell that I have been all over this with my rose petal inks because, of course, it is stained, which means, let's face it, it's well loved. This one. All right. Yep, you got it, Sue. This one will be coming your way. Okay, let's see. Dogwood trees. Oh, Shiamari, you have dogwood trees. I know. I'm so excited for when mine come out. I really am. All right, so I'm putting these together, and like I said, they stick right on here, but not too sticky because I don't want to have to peel off paper in little bits of paper and stuff. So I want them to be sticky enough, but not too sticky. And that's why I like this mat a lot. All right, so I'm going to come in with some ink here. I grabbed the rose petal set. And what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go over all of these with rose quartz. Okay. And then I'm going to use purple wine, and I'm going to use some cosmic berry. I'm not even going to bother with puffy heart. Love that color, just not for this minute. And I have to say today, because I am doing all the things, I'm also using all of the blending tools. Oh, I didn't use the minis. Well, that's all right. Okay, so I'm using this small blending tool, and I like this because those bristles are not super dupery packed. And so this is going to give me a nice light wash just to compare with what I'm going to use next, which is the mini blending tool. And these are very, very packed. All right. And Sharon, I'm so glad you were able to find us over here on YouTube. I am sorry that that it was cutting out for you on Facebook. That stinks. Yes, technology. Let me know if you guys can hear well, if everything is going well. If you want me to zoom in, I can do that as well. And the other thing I like about this mat, my cube will stay in place. So I don't have to sit here and futz with it. I don't have to hold it. It's all just here. And I'm just inking this up. So I'm using rose quartz. And I just want to not make these white. I don't need them to be perfectly pink, but I just don't want them to be perfectly white. And when you look at a dogwood petal, it really, oh good, thanks Avril. I'm glad it's going somewhere. When you look at a dogwood petal, it's very, very light up at the tips and kind of in the middle. And it has more color on the sides of it. And like I said, it's really great if you're not sure exactly how to blend. Nature's been doing it for a while. And so use them as a reference guide. And that's what I do, honestly, all of the time. Hi, Irma. I hope you are doing well. We are trying to, I'm in the Northeast and we are trying to make sure that spring comes soon. So I'm making a very springy card here using the Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood. All right, so now I'm going to come in with purple wine. So I have these laid out so they're connected together. So this is one of the flowers. This is a second flower. This is a third flower, and this is a fourth flower. What I'm going to do with the purple wine is I'm going to get a nice good amount of ink on here. And I'm going to just kind of put my finger in the middle and I'm going to come in from the edges. And I'm going to lay on a good amount of ink. And I'm going to do this for all four edges. I'm not going to go into the middle and I'm not going to go on these ends. I'm just going to go kind of in the fat ends. And you see, look at this. I don't even need to hold it. And that's going to give me that little bit of white on there. Okay. So, oh yeah, I can totally see that. Who was saying that? Tracy. Dried Petals is tied for first place with me for inks. Blue Mountain. Yes. This one is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this color. I actually have it in the fresh dyed inks as well. I just didn't grab them because sometimes I just like using mini cubes and I have all the mini cubes in the crisp dye inks. All right, so notice what I did. I skipped over that second one. And that's because I'm going to use Cosmic Berry on it. So I'm only doing one of each of the petals in purple wine. So you can see I skipped again. And it's random. I'm not deciding. Remember, these were labeled 1 and 2 because of how they're going to go. But I am not, I don't care if I'm doing 1 or 2. It's just kind of random at this moment in time. And I think that's good because then they'll look a little bit different. All right, so here's my baby. And now I'm going to do my last one. So now I'm going to come in, after I finish this fourth one, I'm going to come in and use the Cosmic Berry. And then we'll put all of these little guys together. I love ink blending. It's something I can really kind of focus on. I know it's going to come out good. And it's different every single time. I really do enjoy it. All right, so that was purple wine. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing this. And you too can be like Sarah and be entered to win a $15 gift card from Altenew if you share this live while we're live. Just let Allie know. She's behind the Altenew badge today, putting in some links. And you can grab this. This is the Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood. That's what we are playing with today. Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood. And I just want to point out, maybe you can't tell because of the camera. I can tell. Can you see the difference there? I think the light's too crazy. But This one is just a little bit more purple. This one's a little bit more pink. And so when we put these together, it's going to give this nice variation between the two petals, between the top and the bottom petals of the dogwoods. All right, so I'm coming in and I'm going to do this with my last two sets of petals, and then we are going to take these and I'm going to switch these out and put some leaves in, and we're going to do something similar with the leaves. And I was trying to think of like the springiest colorway I could come up with, and I'll show you all the colors I came up with. I don't know if somebody has like a go-to ink, if they're kind of coming up with a spring card. I know Spring Bouquet would be gorgeous. That has some pinks and limey greens, but I thought these would be really, really pretty. All right, so now I kind of like take a step back. Do I need to go in with anything? I have a little bit of ink left on my brush. I'm just going to go in and just kind of get rid of that ink. If I think that there's any sections that are a little bit much. No, it's looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to put away these guys. Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Teresa. That's what I was going for, was like to give that just that little bit of glow instead of going through all of that. All right, so let me put these back. I'm going to keep them kind of near each other. And we got more for these to go. Now my mat's a little dirty. I'm going to put some green in, and I don't want to get that brown. So I'm just going to take a moment to clean off my little mat. And this also will put any sticky back on, because I'm cleaning up the ink and I'm cleaning up any sort of gunkies on that one as well. Nancy, are you telling? Oh, rain is coming my way, Nancy. It's coming tomorrow. I just realized that. All right, so now I'm going to grab my leaves, and I have 6 leaves. And I was like, what the heck is a springy colorway? So I picked rose petals, thought that was pretty. And then I love this green meadows because it's a minty green. And so I'm going to use that. So that is the minty mint. And then I'm going to grab just green. I'll grab a little hunter green too. And then I also grabbed Seashore because this is kind of this like really, really pretty teal. So ink and purple. Oh yes, Sarah, absolutely. I love that color. I love those colorways. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to grab the small blending tool, and I'm going to grab, I have a green one and I have kind of a blue one. I don't have ones for like each specific color. I just kind of have it for like a grouping of colors. So here's my minty mint, and I'm going to go and do minty mint on the top. And I'm just going to do the same thing where I just don't want them to be white. And I want to point out again that I did this for the flowers where I made them pink, but you can't tell because of the fact that we added so much dark to it. So that looks kind of cool. Avril, me too. I love teals. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Dorothy, that you also love flowers. I bet you're in the same boat where you're kind of like, cannot wait for spring to be here and to be looking around your garden and to see what the heck is out there. All right, so that's my small blending tools. And now I'm going to come in with the mini tools. And so I'm going to grab a little bit of a green one. This one I think I made minty, and this one is nice bright green. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to start with the greens, and I'm going to come in with just green. And instead of necessarily going from the top, I'm actually going to start from the bottom and go to the outsides. And Avril, I'm with you. I love eucalyptus. And that's like such a beautiful kind of mintish green. And I always try to add those two colors, excuse me, onto my leaves. All right, so again, I want to leave a little bit of space on here. So I'm going to come in from the bottom, and you notice I hit the bottom and then I go right up the side. So I'm not going straight in the middle. I'm kind of hitting the bottom and going up the sides. And that's just the look I was going for. There's really no wrong way to blend or to do leaves or flowers or petals. Any whatever the heck look you're going for is that's going to be what you want. I just like to kind of add a little bit of variation here. So there's my little bit of difference. So that was the Just Green. And now I'm going to come in with Hunter Green. And the only reason why I'm using Hunter Green is just because I want to add just a little bit of dark. Because remember, it's the dark that brings the light. So it's going to actually show. And just I want to point out that that's not white. I know it looks white, but it really is that light green that we have there. All right, again, a little bit extra. I'm just kind of swirl off what the heck I have. All right, putting that brush away. And now I'm going to come in with my bluey brush, and this is Lagoon. So I'm going to do the same thing here and just come right up from the bottom. And then as soon as I come up from the bottom is on the side. I agree, Dorothy. There's so much you can do with these. I like to cut them out of backgrounds or paper, like, just paper that I have. I make alcohol ink backgrounds, watercolor backgrounds. I love the Craft-a-Flowers. They're very, very versatile, super easy to use. Sometimes, though, because they're so layered, it's hard to like, what do I do with them? Because if I put them on a card, there's, what do I do? Because they themselves are so much, because they're layers upon layers upon layers. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And that's my card over here on the side that we're making with this Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood. And again, if you share this live while we're live, we're about halfway through, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card. And we have Allie, who is behind the badge tag. Give a huge shout out to Allie. So thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Darshana. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dorothy and Chandra and Tracy. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, how can I put these colors together? And when I think spring, what the heck does that mean to me? And I love these teals. Like Avril had said, the eucalyptus color, that's really what I use as seashore when I want that like eucalyptus kind of color. All right, so now we have our leaves are all set. All right, Avril, get ready. Avril's over on Facebook. She knows when I have to use ink sprays, which I'm about to do right now. And I'm going to spritz these with iridescent ink spray. Now, why do you ask? Why not? Right? Here's iridescent ink spray. This is so amazing. Love them, love them, love them. And it gives it a little bit of texture. And these are water-based inks, so they're going to be a little reactive, but it gives it a little texture and it gives it a little shimmer and shine. So I love them. And I like that idea, Avril, about making the Craft-a-Flowers with ink smoosh, with using ink smooshing. Excuse me. That is a great idea. All right, so now, yes, Darshana, this one, you definitely should check out. All right, so what do I have off here right now is I have a splat box. Normally, I just do this on my desk, but I had a lot of boxes come in recently, and so I'm grabbing this. This is to protect Avril, because normally I kind of spray a little too vigorously, and things seem to end up in Ireland. So that's what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and add these on. So my box, I'm going to bring my box in as soon as, there we go. And this is an official box from gosh knows what. And I'm going to have it. Okay. I think I'm going to be splattering them. Avril. Although I hope you get your iridescent out and you do that for me as well. Oh my gosh, Sue, the layering chestnut tree dies. I'm so glad you mentioned those. That was a set I wanted to get. But I keep forgetting. You know, I'm a terrible shopper. People have to tell me what to buy. All right, so I just sprayed a little bit, and I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to drop like large globs on these. And then I'm just going to let this dry, because this is a lot on here, and I'm just going to let all of this business air dry. And just to kind of show you this is a leaf that I left over from before. So that iridescent, it's a little hard to see, but on the camera, but it's really gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to pull this away and we will come back to it. And I put my iridescent spray away. So I just want to, let's do a little technique count. So we have die cutting so far. We have done ink blending, and we have done ink spraying. So we're up to 3. Oh, and glitter paper, 4. All right, so now we're going to make a background. So I want to point out what the heck I did on this. And you can do whatever you want to, whatever the heck. But what I did with this background, because I wanted layers upon layers upon layers, because I'm like, why not? And so you can see we have a card here, and this is my actual card that I ink blended right on top of it. And I'm using Desert Night. And this color, I only used one color on this, and I'll show you kind of how I did that technique. I lied, actually. I used a little bit of Tanzanite. And I'm going to show you that. I also have a background stamp here that is, oh my gosh, where'd it go? Dotted pinwheels. And this is such a great stamp set because it's geometric, but it has like a lot of space left in it. So for something like this where you want to see something like through it, this is such a nice background stamp to grab. And it has some really cute sentiments in there as well. Right, Tracy? Love it. Helena, thank you so much for sharing this to your Facebook friends. And you too can be like Helena and be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And we have Allie behind the badge today who will be announcing that winner at the end of our program. And I lost my card base. I had it out, guys. Found it. All right, so I'm going to grab my card base and I'm going to bring back in my mat that I use for ink blending. And I can't find it now. That is weird. Last week I lost my tweezers and I just lost my mat. Okay. So I'm going to grab some paper to protect this. I'm looking all around now. All right. I'm just going to grab the mat out of my stamp wheel. No, I'll just use paper. I'll just use some paper. If I had the mat from my stamp wheel, what I usually like to do is I take this and I just push it right in there. And Avril, I'm glad it's on your desk. And thank you, by the way, for returning my tweezers from last week, which I found it. Yes. I put it away for safekeeping. That's what I did. Avril, I found it. Thanks for getting it back. Thanks for giving it back to me. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Irma, thank you so much. These flowers, so easy to make with a little bit of ink blending. So easy. And this is the Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood. Check out this set. So easy to put together. We're going to be doing that in just a moment after we ink blend our front of it. All right. I know, Teresa, I'm totally with you. You lose stuff and I haven't even moved. I was like, it always happens on a live because I'm thinking about so many different things at one time. And I realized in my card making methodology, if you can call it that, I have a tendency where I kind of do something and then I walk away. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do this, I need to do one more thing. All right. So I can ink blend this and then I can use some heat embossing powder on it, except for the fact that if I do that, I need to wait for it to dry because it's going to get all crazy sticky. So what we're going to do first, see, I got so excited about ink blending with Desert Night. What we're actually going to do first is we're going to stamp on this. So I'm going to bring in my stamp wheel. And before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to treat this. And I'm going to be using antique gold embossing powder. And antique gold it's brightish, I guess I should say. And I do want to tone it down. So I'm going to tone it down with a piece of vellum. And I'll show you how I do that on this front. All right, so I've treated this. So it's ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right in here. And I need it to be in the middle because I have a nice big stamp. And let me grab that dotted pinwheels and then we're going to do it. Oh my gosh. Right, Allie? It just keeps hiding. Keeps hiding on me. Hate it. I feel like sometime I'm just going to look under the floorboards, and that will be like every single craft tool that I have bought double of. I'll eventually find it. It's got to be there at some point in time. All right, so this is a nice, beautiful stamp, and you can see it's going to cover my entire card front. So I'm just going to put this right on, and then I'm going to grab some embossing ink. And I apologize in advance because I know you guys are looking at this like, yeah, you know, Amy, we won't be able to see what you're doing. So I understand. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk about flowers that you want to see, colors that you love to use, anything like that, while I am getting this ready for you to be able to see this. Okay, so I'm going to put my stamp in, turn this around. I don't need to condition it because I do use this a lot, but I know. I don't know if that, Tracy, if that's a tea thing, because I think a lot of us lose all of our stuff, man. It's in there. And I have a nice new embossing ink pad. So my embossing has been going a lot better. I have to say, if you're getting to a point where you're frustrated with embossing powders, it might actually be time to change your embossing ink pad or to add some of your ink refill to that. All right, and this is a big stamp, so I'm going to get out my little helper tool just to really make sure that ink makes contact with the paper. And I love this because it's such a delicate little, I know it's so big, but it's such a delicate set. There's one, I'll share with you guys when I do the other thing. All right, I'm going to do this a second time because I'm always anxious and like, I feel like, you know, Nancy, I have 2 pairs, and I think last week I lost them both. So now I've learned I actually need 3 pairs. I think I have 4 pairs of scissors. I lose those all the time. Lose the scissors. It's a lot of stuff going on. I think I do live in a vortex or something. What's going on here? All right. Oh my gosh, Tracy, yes. Ocean colors. I agree. All right. Cool summer nights would be beautiful. Oh, that's what I'm using. Okay, here we go. All right, moment of truth. If it doesn't work, too bad. Let's hope it works. It looks semi-good. Yep, that looks good. All right, I understand you guys are like, yay, it's white. Trust me, there is ink on there. It just happens at this moment to be clear ink, but I promise it's okay. And exciting news, I have my Altenew tweezers. Yes. So I get to not burn myself today. So I'm very excited about this. All right, so this is antique gold. I'm just kind of, I think this is my favorite. I love them all. And it looks like I needed to add more powder. It's all right. We'll fix that in just a second. Okay, and one more little spot. Beautiful. And this little spot. So I just want to, I'm going to fix all this little thing, but isn't that pretty? It's just really, really pretty. Yeah, right, Tina? Like just the edging on this stamp, it's really, really nice. I like it a lot. It's I haven't used background stamps in a while, and I was looking over the website just to be like, oh, what the heck is on there? And they are pretty. I just haven't used them. All right, I got off some of it. All right, so I'm just going to come in with a tiny dry brush and just start kind of picking off where I guess I need a new embossing powder tool. Or I got to do the old method and use the cornstarch. Does anybody use the cornstarch or method? Lydia uses that one. I got to start doing that. Okay. Fortunately, I'm going to be covering this with some vellum. So kind of all ills are covered by vellum. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Chandra. Talc. All right, Avril. I don't know if we have that here in the U.S. I got to look into that. Use talc. Oh, yeah, they would. The Peruvian lilies. Yes, those are gorgeous. I don't have them. Contrary to popular belief, I don't. Does she use baby powder, Sue? Okay. I think we have to have like talc-free powder in the United States. But that is baby powder. All right, she uses baby powder. All right. I know I need like a different methodology because my method is just not working. That and I have cats, so it might also be the cats, but we can blame a lot of things on cats. That's usually what I do. And this is a nice big background stamp. I love this process though, because I'm like, wow, it still wows me every single time. I'm like, wow. It's like you just add a little heat and it's all of a sudden it like changes. It's so neat. And I love the antique gold. So pretty. All right, Irma, use cornstarch. Tina, mine is not 20 years old. I have the little bag. I don't know. Maybe it's an operator error issue. Do you think I just don't know how to use a powder bag? It might be. That's a good idea, Tracy. I will put little socks on them. All right, so I just want to point that out. So pretty, gorgeous, right? So nice. Now we're going to ruin it. All right, here we go. So I'm going to grab my mat. I found it. And I have this little trick that I do when I want to emboss over the top of a card. And I just take, because that's why I like this mat, I just take the mat and I just stuff it inside. And I grab like just a piece of paper, and this is just going to help me to kind of like get the ink on there. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to use the large blending tool because why not? Sarah, I have 3. Why do I have 3? I don't know. The third one was kind of an impulse rescue. In fact, all of them I think were impulse rescues, honestly. But they are, the little one is a kitten still. So she came, the other 2 are 3 years old, and yeah, total impulse rescues. All of a sudden I got up and my husband was like, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to Connecticut." Why? To pick up a cat. So, because why not? You know, you need more cats in your life, right? You need more cats. I have it in a bag. I have it in a baggie. Here's my cornstarch baggie, and I literally just got that thing, and I think it's operator error. So Tina, you're going to have to show me how to use it if you're still using one after 20 years. I have to say. All right, so what I'm doing here as I'm blending, besides talking to you, is say impulse well. So as I'm talking with you, I am going for a technique where I'm going to be adding some really dark color. You can see I'm continuing to add it to the ends, and this is going to be on both ends. So I'm not really doing an ombre look. I kind of want there to be dark color at the top and the bottom. And you can see I'm kind of pushing that color down. So here's my midway point, and I want this to be as light as possible, and I want the top to be as dark as possible. So I'm not really going to go past where my hand is. All right, so now I'm going to take my paper, and now I'm going to stuff it under my card base in the other direction, and I'm going to repeat what I just did. All right, here we go. Yes, they definitely are, my family. Oh, so Massachusetts has some funky rules about adopting, so we have to go to Connecticut. So it's in Tolland, I think. In Tolland, but the cats are from the South. They were all from the South. The 2 boys are from South Carolina, I think, and the tiny one is from Florida. So, oh, okay, Tina. I think that makes sense. Yes, a planned attempt. So, yeah, especially when you're right, Tina. Tracy, it's not necessarily an impulse, but because I did have to drive hours to go get them, but it was a lot. Tina, I'm going to try that with the clip because that might help a little bit. Now, if you're not getting the gradient that you want to get, I am going to introduce you, if you don't have this yet, this is a set. Put it on your like wish list, and the wish list, add jewel tones. And jewel tones is kind of this neat set where there's colors for each of the color families. So you can see there's red, there's orange, there's yellow, there's blue, and then there's two types of greens. There's like a bright green and then an olivey green. And it doesn't matter which set you're using, which color set you're using. Like I'm using Cool Summer Nights. I'm going to use Tanzanite. And what Tanzanite is going to do is it's going to allow me to have an even darker definition. And this is looking pretty good. And I have to say, and Tracy would agree with me, Desert Night is probably one of the most gorgeous colors that Altenew has. And if you don't have this one, make sure you put this sucker in your basket. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And Tracy, don't you just love the jewel tones? They just kind of add that little bit of oomph. And I know you guys are going to be looking at me going, I don't really see it. I hope you do, because, and again, I'm just adding this right at the end, and it's just going to give me just a little bit of darkness, and it's really going to make that Desert Night pop out. And it's just really, really super subtle. You might be able to tell the difference between the bottom and the top. I haven't added it up here yet, but it's just a little bit. And the same thing with the rhodolite. I didn't end up using it for these flowers, but you definitely could use it for the flowers too. Because it doesn't matter if it's pink or if it's red, the rhodolite will work there too. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the Tanzanite just to the top of this, just to give me a little bit of dark here. Okay. All right, so we got, oh my gosh, again. I think I add too many techniques. All right, we're going to bump this up a little bit quickly so that way I can get this in to show you guys. All right, so we've added now using a background stamp, and I blended all over a background. And now I'm going to do kind of another crazy thing. This is gorgeous. And if I take these flowers, let me just grab my flowers, which are now dry, and put it on top of here, you can see that they'll be pretty on here. But I feel like they're competing, if that makes sense. And so I want to tone this down just a little bit. And I can do that using a piece of vellum. And so if I add the vellum to the top of this, it just tones it down enough where now those flowers feel like they're popping off of it. And you're going to look at me and you're going to say, that's great, but how do you adhere vellum? And the way that you do it is you use double-sided adhesive sheets. And so I cut a piece of vellum that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because that's the size of my card. And I also have a piece of adhesive sheet that will fit exactly almost all over that vellum. And so it's a little tricky to get on. So I've done it now successfully, I think twice, but of course I'm going to mess this up because I'm on live. But what you do with this is very carefully. So you just kind of take one part of it off. So here's my sticky side. And I'm just going to push this down. And I do have to stand up because I got to kind of like look over it. And I'm going to start, and I can even go up a little bit higher because I don't want to get that middle adhered yet. And I'm just going to start to line up those edges. And once I have it, notice I'm pressing, and I messed up. So I'm pressing where my fold is. And once I have that, and I feel like it's good, then I'm going to adhere it down. So now it's there, okay? But it's only stuck on that one side. So if I messed up, I can still kind of move it a little bit. And then I'm going to start to peel this down. And if I feel really good, it's there. It's close enough for today because I knew I was going to screw it up. So I'm a little over the edge, but that's fine. And so now that's down. Oh my gosh. And I just got desert ink on it. You know, we'll fix that. That's where I'm going to be putting a flower. So now I have this. So on the other side, I also have adhesive. And I'm just going to take off my adhesive, same exact thing. And now this side is sticky. So I'm going to do the same exact thing and just kind of push that down. Now I'm going to grab my card and I'm going to do the same exact thing. As I'm going to come in, I'm going to line that up right at the top. And notice I'm pressing where, I'm not pressing on the tape yet. I'm kind of pressing on this. And then I'm just going to line those edges up. Still need to move it up just a little bit. And I know you're all holding your collective breath, and I appreciate that. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go ahead and scooch that right down. And so it just makes this little kind of soft look to it. So it's really, really nice. Hey, Jean, how are you doing? Oh, thank you so much for sharing this. All right, so we got about 4 minutes to go. And I'm just going to take a card, or I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to quickly just make sure that that vellum is adhered down. All right, so now we're good. So I'm going to add my sentiment on. And what I've done from my sentiment is I've used the Sweet Sentiments hot foil plate set. I love this set. It is beautiful. They have these really, really gorgeous sentiments. I've already hot foiled these because I knew that there was no way I was going to have time to do all of this and hot foil at the same time. So I did do that ahead of time. But I'm going to add this on, and then we're going to put our flowers together, and we'll add those on with our leaves. And I just cut out a second one. These are neat because you can cut out the sentiment. So if you just have the die set, you can actually just cut out the die, the word, and then there's a shadow layer. Or you can get the foil set, and then I would just use the shadow layer. And then that way you're kind of pulling that out. All right, so I'm just going to put this on right at the bottom. So that one will adhere and stay right there. Look how pretty even just that looks. Isn't that neat? So nice. Yeah. Oh, thanks so much, Allison. Yes, of course, I'm glad everybody was holding their collective breath, because that is how that vellum got adhered down. All right, I have just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to bring in my flowers. So these, remember that what we did is we die cut these out from the Craft-a-Flower Flowering Dogwood set. And then I ink blended them using the rose petal inks. And now you're just going to put them together. And it's really easy because these are going to line up according to the numbers and the shapes that are on them. So this is a 1. Here's, I put the 2 right on top of it, and I just make sure those triangles fit. And now I have a dogwood flower. And really, really easy to use. And there's my flower. All right. And so, yes, Tracy, like this already, I think is kind of cool. Like you can kind of keep it like that. All right. So this is the flower center. And I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this. And this just goes and kind of locks everything down into place. And it also is now going to set up where you're going to put your actual flower center. So there's my little flower lock. And now I'm going to come in with this white one. So you remember that the white one I did as an extra. And I'm just using this to pop up my flower. And you just want to kind of rotate these. I kind of look for like a little piece that sticks out. And there's my little piece that sticks out. And I'm just going to put that right on. And hopefully it will stay. Okay. All right. So that's even pretty. But now we're going to add the glitter. And I think, like I said, this is that from that forest canopy. This is the Titanite. And this is really going to make this pop. And it's the exact same shape as that white one. So I'm just going to follow that and just put that over. You could even push this off a little bit if you wanted a little glow. I'm going to put it directly on top. But because I have that little white piece in there, it gives it a little bit of a height on there. And there's my flower. How pretty, right? Thanks, Kathy. I'm glad. The vellum, I was like, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I really thought it was kind of cool. I liked it a lot. All right, so I'm going to do my little papa flower real fast. Allie, if you're okay, I know I'm going a minute or 2 over as per usual. So I'm going to do this one, same thing. So here's my little keyhole. So this is my little papa flower. Putting that one together. And now I'm going to grab the keyhole background. And all I would do to adhere these to the card when we're done is just use a little bit of Instant Dimension foam tape and that's going to pop these flowers up. And it's that way they are ready to go. So they are absolutely ready to go. All right, so same thing. Here's the white one that goes on top. And remember, I cut these out. These were a little bit extra. I actually was going to throw these away, and then I'm like, why don't I use these? And then they can just pop right up there. And I kind of just kind of zhuzh it around until it fits in there. There we go. And then here is the glitter part. All right, and then I'll dry fit these just to kind of show you. But like I said, I would use some Instant Dimension foam tape. And I like the Altenew Instant Dimension foam tape because of the fact that it's thin. So if I want to get like a super pop-up, then I can just add like 2 pieces to, like, you know, layer the pieces of foam tape, and then they can go together. All right, and then I'm going to add some leaves, and that's it. And I'm going to add a little bit of teal and a little bit of green, and that is our card for today. So, oh my gosh, please do, Allison. We're also scheduled for Monday. That's our next one, but those are our cards. So because I had some pieces left over, I'm like, hey, I'll just do this as well. So I made 2 cards. So this was the card we did today. And like I said, for techniques, we had foiling, we have background, we had ink blending, we had that background stamp, we had ink blending here, we had a little bit of glitter, we got layers upon layers upon layers. And then even that vellum that gives it a little bit more of a muted background. And this is without that background stamp. I just wanted you to take a look at it. And I could have add some splatter here as well. I just added a little bit of washi tape just to give those flowers something to lay on. And this is that same Sweet Sentiments hot foil sentiment. So thank you so much, guys. And I really appreciate you all taking some time out of your life to hang out with us today. I really appreciate it. And I really also appreciate Allie, who is behind the badge, putting in all of those links and moderating the chat. So thank you, guys. I hope you have a fabulous day. And thank you for letting Altenew craft your life. We will see you later.